Oh, we're live. We're live. Anthony, we're live.
Live, let's do it.
So I'm here with Anthony Delmedico. I call him the Beast because he is not only a sales beast, this guy just gets up every day and gets after it. I was fortunate enough to make him a client on the Lightspeed VT platform. And when did we launch, Anthony? February? February, right?
Yeah, we launched for the conference, the Win the Storm conference, which was in Miami, which was a hard target to launch for because we try to launch this in about 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, so we
February.
launched in Miami. He actually flew me down there to help him out. First class, I might add, treated me first class. And he had 1,200 contractors plus there, 100 vendor booths, and we had a booth specific to launch his SVG University, and we knocked it out of the park, wouldn't you say?
Well, yeah, there's probably 12, 1,300 contractors, but there's another 400 or 500 vendors because each vendor had 5 or 6 people at their booth. So collectively, it was a zoo. It was the barbarian horde of the industry.
So before we get into exactly the details of what you do, obviously, just so everyone knows, Anthony is a trainer in the construction industry, and that is not what you're supposed to be doing on a Facebook Live. Right there, your phone should not be going off. So that being said, Anthony, how did you get into your business? Like, where did you see the void?
Well, it's the construction industry, but our niche is insurance restoration. So some people call it storm chasing. We call it the $100 billion insurance restoration industry, which is a little classier than storm chasing. But at the end of the day, it's a collective group of, there's 783,000 licensed contractors in America. Probably 5 to 10% of that group focus on post-catastrophes like hail, hurricane, fire, flood, that kind of thing. And so it's a group of contractors that really focus on helping property owners rebuild, after catastrophic storms and events. So it's a very special niche industry. In the last 20 years, it's really evolved. I fell into the industry in 1999 as a sales guy, knocking doors, and very quickly became an owner after a few years. Did real well in sales. Became an owner at a licensed general contractor at my first office, Minnesota. Went on to open 18 offices over about 13 years. So started in my basement, went to 173 million in sales over 12 years.
Nice.
One of the challenges I always face is not only as a salesperson, but as a contractor, owner, entrepreneur in this industry is there just wasn't a lot of tools to train your salespeople, to train your key functional managers, because it's not just construction retail, it's a niche of insurance restoration. So you have a whole specific set of contracts, forms, documents, different type of sales training contractors need to really handle complex situations with insurance claims. It's not just about rebuilding. It's about dealing with insurance adjusters. It's a different sales approach. It's very proactive. It's a different set of contracts, forms, and documents that guys need to really get after this business. And it really wasn't anything for a contractor or entrepreneur to go to. So that's why I launched Storm Ventures Group 4 years ago, which is a consulting boutique company to help contractors launch, grow, and scale in the $100 billion insurance restoration industry.
Now, when you say the $100 billion insurance restoration industry, because honestly, when you and I first started talking, you used that term with me. I've been in construction. I've done construction sales in my career. So again, I'm familiar with the construction industry and how to sell and proposals and walking jobs and measuring and et cetera. But for those people that are watching that aren't in the construction industry, I mean, essentially what you do is you're storm chasing essentially, or your clients are storm chasing. So when you see these floods, these hailstorms, right, where these giant golf balls or snowballs are coming down and breaking up roofs, or tornadoes are coming through, your clients, right, these contractors that are your clients are the ones that are going out there working with these communities to rebuild them, correct?
Correct. I mean, yeah, they're spread out all through the country. Some are storm chasers and some are what we call storm catchers. They don't actually chase, but they just wait for it to hit their backyard. Denver just got hit last month.
You guys getting his audio? How's your audio, Anthony?
Denver just got hit with a $1.4 billion. My audio's fine.
Okay.
Denver just got hit with a $1.4 billion hailstorm last month. And so a lot of the contractors like in Denver, they don't ever chase. They just wait for it to hit because it hits there every year. But yeah, when I say $100 billion on it, that's globally. Natural catastrophes and storms produce about $100 billion in losses on average every year. The United States is typically about half of the globe in terms of insured losses. Last year, so we're about 50 billion last year in terms of catastrophic damage events. So it's for the U.S., it's a huge industry. There's actually more storms and catastrophic events consistently in the U.S., believe it or not, than in most other areas around the globe.
So what do you see as the three biggest pain points for a contractor? Because again, you've got a ton of content. I mean, I'm not saying this just to say it. I have a lot of clients. I have a lot of sales clients. People that teach leadership. I mean, the content that you have, what you really have is a business in a box. Like if I knew nothing about construction, I literally can click on a video module with you. You'll introduce me to the industry and you'll walk me through how to knock a door, how to measure a roof, how to deal with an insurance adjuster, what forms I should use, what contracts I should use for an independent rep that might come on board with me or a commission salesman. I mean, literally, you've got everything from A to Z on how to become a contractor in that industry.
The business of boss, because one of the things I faced as a contractor and entrepreneur in this industry, there was no book, there's no courses, there was nothing for me to go to. And a lot of guys, we've been banging our heads against the wall, learning as we go, making mistakes, which is why 4 years ago I started writing Win the Game, which is a 450-page book on how to scale your company in the insurance.
I think we have that. Let's put that up, guys. I'm going to put that up, Win the Game behind me, yes. So give us a little feedback on that, Anthony.
Well, this is the first book in the industry that teaches contractors how to scale up in this industry. What size is this industry? Let's define the industry. How do you ramp up? It's all modeled after sell, build, collect. How do you ramp up your sales department? How do you ramp up your production? How do you ramp up your accounts receivable, sell, build, collect, to deal with post-storm environments? Because it's different than retail contracting. It's exponential growth. But if you don't have the right tools in your arsenal and the right training to train your people, you're going to miss that bell-shaped curve. But if you do have the right tools in your arsenal, you can ride a wave to multi-millions of dollars in revenue. And so one of the reasons I wrote the book is because I really never saw any education materials as a contractor myself to really help me scale into business. I learned the hard way. And so I wanted to write the book to kind of teach guys. Now, what we found out over the last 4 years, because we got training manuals, I do on-site consulting, coaching, all that, but we got manuals and systems. Problem is nobody reads anymore, right? Like this, a lot of guys will skim through this, say, oh yeah, I learned a few things, but the virtual training, what made me fall in love with the virtual training platform is because now entrepreneurs in the industry can put their salespeople, their managers through short courses that they're actually going to retain and learn versus reading manuals and books.
So aren't you glad that a closer closed a closer? Because you were a tough sale, man. You're a negotiator.
You were. I think you followed up. What is it? You definitely hit me up 7 times before I decided to fly down and meet you. Yeah,
at least. And I'm saying this sincerely. I'm glad I did because, I mean, you're out there and you're making it happen. I mean, you're one of those guys that gets up every day, and it doesn't matter how many deals or clients you acquired the day before. I mean, you literally are passionate about the industry and helping the industry grow. And you're doing all the right things. Again, the amount of content that's on your platform is second to none, especially in your industry. And the amount of people, I mean, when I got there, I obviously didn't realize the scale of the event that you put on for the industry. And then you had 100 vendor booths there, of which SVG University, right, had a booth to introduce and sell your virtual training to those attendees. And man, I was only there for a day, but I mean, the response and the amount of deals that we closed, I mean, these contractors really were almost ravenous to sign up and get your content.
Yeah, I mean, we've signed up since the conference. I think it's been about 3 months. We've signed up 103 companies in the last 90 days. The reason they're so excited is the pain. There's a lot of pain into training and ramping up a sales team in our industry because it's usually 100% commission reps. And then also to scale up your functional areas, your production department, your estimating and supplementing department, your your collections department, all this stuff, after a storm or catastrophic event, you need everything right away to scale because you got all these customers. I mean, you're talking about 10 or 15, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 zip codes that could be hit with some kind of storm or catastrophic activity. Phones ringing off the hook. You don't have enough guys to go on leads. I mean, so
right.
The necessity to scale after a storm is exponentially greater than just a retail contractor. And guys, they're answering their phones, they're out there monitoring bills, they're trying to hold it all together. So to have a virtual training platform where we can help them train their salespeople 24/7, how to knock a door, how to sign a deal, how to meet an adjuster, how to estimate a roof, how to analyze a roof for storm damage. Having access to that kind of training 24/7, not just for salespeople, but for functional managers like production, accounts receivable. You have different sets of forms and documents you need when releasing money from an insurance company. I mean, you're invoicing 2 customers now instead of 1. So everything's a little bit different. And so to have access to that virtual training, which is industry specific to our industry, the insurance restoration industry, I think that's why guys are excited because they now have me and SVG in their hip pocket 24/7, where their people, not just the owners, but their people can tap into this training 24/7 and alleviate. We're reducing owners' training time and headaches by 80% right now in the feedback.
And that was one of the things when I was there, when I was talking to all these contractors that were coming up to the booth. I said, what are your biggest pain points? And obviously they said, a storm comes in, and I need to scale up, right? And it might have been a mom and pop shop that 10 months out of the year, right, or 9 months out of the year. They're the husband, the wife, and maybe a couple employees, and then all of a sudden a storm hits and they need to scale up. And one of the big things that I try to impress upon them is, what if you could just plug Anthony in now to train your people 24/7, where you didn't have to go through all the sales basics or how to fill out a form or do a bid? What if you could just plug Anthony in, and before you guys even showed up to work, right, they knew exactly what to do and how to do it. And literally, guys were taking the pen out of my hand and going, I'm in. So
it's the biggest pain point in the industry. I mean, all the functional areas are important. We call it sell, build, collect. I want to make sure it's not just sales training. It's also production, accounts receivable, estimating and supplementing. It gets into, we're getting into really advanced roofing systems now, like how do we evaluate Ludowici tile? How do we evaluate asbestos? We just shot in Denver. We just shot in Chicago. So we do real advanced roofing systems now that's getting real technical, but we've covered all the basis with the initial content to ramp up that sales team, ramp up your production department, and ramp up your accounts receivable. But the biggest pain is actually training and ramping up that sales team, because you're dealing with oftentimes 100% commission reps. You go to Denver right now, and it's almost impossible to find salespeople. They literally have to find them from scratch and train them. We call them green beans.
Right.
There are no salespeople in Denver. They're all working for somebody. And so the guys have to have a system set up to train that green bean who might have been delivering Domino's pizza yesterday, or might have been doing real estate or doing maybe mortgages or something yesterday. And now they have to learn insurance restoration, and they don't have a month to train them. They need to learn the next 24 hours, 48 hours, how to knock a door, how to sign a deal, how to deal with a customer, how to evaluate a property. And that owner, even if he has a sales manager, there's only so much of them to go around in a fluid work environment, right?
Sure.
So you can't 5, 10, 15 people, and that's what they need after a major storm. They need a team of 5 to 10 salespeople at minimum to capitalize not only on the calls coming in, but to go after and get new business to really scale up that revenue department.
Well, too, I heard a statistic in your business too. When a storm hits, like everyone goes wham, right, and they're on it, but only 25% of the deals, and again, if I'm incorrect on this, please correct me, but only 25% of the potential money that's taken out from that storm is capitalized on, and there's 75% left. And a lot of these salespeople of these companies aren't following up after the fact. Is that the case?
Well, there's an old statistic in the insurance world where, especially on hailstorms, for every person that files a claim, there's 7 more in that area that should but didn't because they didn't know they had damage. Because hail's kind of a unique catastrophe event out of all the other ones, because a lot of people can't see on top of their roof. So it literally requires a guy to go up and do this and offer a free property inspection for Mrs. Smith to even know she has damage up there, because she can't see up there, and hail doesn't leak right away. It really negates the warranty of the roof, causes damage up there, and it has problems later on. So you literally know hail is a unique event. If your house burns down, right, you don't need me knocking on your door and say, hey man, your house burned down, can I help you out? You already know.
You know what's funny?
But when you have hail can be like 7 zip codes. It literally hit 100,000 or 500,000 homes. unless you have broken windows or broken windshields, which oftentimes they don't. People don't even know they have the damage until someone goes out and does this. And so hiring and training proactive salespeople that can knock doors, conduct thorough property inspections, and ink deals is absolute necessity after a hailstorm. And it can lead to millions of dollars of revenue for a contractor who has the ability to train up that team and train them fast.
Now, exactly what you're saying, exactly what you're saying, the whole knocking door concept. When I go through a lot of your content, there's a lot of contractors in general that can use your content, correct?
Yeah, we're now, and I was getting that earlier, we're now, because remember that number I said, there's 783,000 licensed contractors in America, only less than 5% do just storm work. So retail contractors now are waking up to the fact that this is a growing industry. Mm-hmm. They need to capitalize on this industry and learn how to do it, or their competition is going to eat their market share for breakfast. So we're starting to get retail contractors that want to get into our program, or all of our programs and our training, because they want to learn insurance restoration. But they also are asking me, hey, can you teach just retail sales? Because the door knock's really no different. Instead of having hail damage, you might have an old roof. So it's really just a different sales pitch. But yeah, we're starting to add retail courses now to the training. So it's not just going to be storm-based here in the near future. It's also going to be available for retail contractors who want to scale up.
And I just wanted to comment to that. Everything seems to go full circle, right? I mean, I'm trying to get comfortable, with doing more social media. We talked about obviously doing this live stream and how to post and Facebook ads and et cetera. But if you're a company out there, there's a lot of money to be had by going what I'll call old school, which is knocking the door. Again, you're talking about your guys knocking doors, and I'm thinking to myself, well, if someone knocked on my door right now and had a window cleaning service, boom, they'd have a deal, and I can probably tell you, because I know a lot of the people in my neighborhood, that they'd probably get a half a dozen deals today. I don't know what it costs to wash windows. I'm just using it as an example. Someone knocked on my door to do carpet cleaning. If someone knocked on my door to paint my house, like literally, I just had my house painted. But if someone knocked, I guarantee you that they'd be getting more business. So I really respect what you're doing. I don't think that is an old school business model. I think it's just something that more companies that are in the service, or construction business need to be aware of, and that would help them drastically increase their sales. You agree?
Yeah, well, personal selling is almost a lost art form on a newer generation. So, look, one of our courses is scouting, how to scout large neighborhoods where it looks like roofs need to be replaced. Now, part of our scouting is how to scout for hail, but also you could apply it to retail. If you find a neighborhood of old cedar-shake roofs, whether they have hail damage or wind damage or not, maybe they're just old and they're 20, 25 years plus and need to be replaced. And now you can focus a blitz or some door knocking or some marketing efforts on that area, whether it's retail or storm. It's really the same thing. You're going to capitalize, you're going to create more business, because personal selling beats all other forms of sales and marketing combined. If you can put a team together to do that. So
before we wrap it up, I just want to take a few minutes. Number one, give everyone your website and how to get to SVG University. Yeah, our main parent company website is www.stormventuresgroup.com. So that's kind of our main website. There you can access information about SVG University, our virtual training platform, or our traditional online contractor store page, where we actually brand up anything you need: contracts, build contracts, contingency agreements, training systems, estimating programs, all the stuff I created for my own company over 15 years. We now bottled up as product systems for contractors, which we brand up and distribute. That's our online contractor store. And then, of course, you'll see our Window Storm Conference on there. That's our annual conference where we bring everybody together, have some fun, do networking, do some training and speakers. So between the university, the online contractor store, and a conference, we're really trying to provide an A to Z one-stop shop boutique company for the entrepreneur to go to launch, grow, or scale in this industry. And again, the conference is going to be in Vegas in March of next year, March of 2018? No, it's March 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, 2018. So it's right before storm season really kicks off officially, and really after the winter holidays and stuff like that. So we like to time it in early March, sometimes late February, because that's when contractors are gearing up for the new season. Snow's melting up north, and they're really gearing up to get going for the spring and gearing their minds up. Really, it's about motivation and
preparing for the new season and new storm. So that's why we choose that date. Vegas, everybody loved Vegas. We did Vegas 2 years ago.
Hey, and I won't have to travel far this year.
It's right there, so you can just come down. You just come down. We're putting you on the floor actually for a little in a breakout session as well on sales motivation, and how some guys can use different types of training motivation for their salespeople.
I'm looking forward to it, man, because I'm old school when it comes to shaking a hand or, reaching out, knocking a door, picking up a phone. I love that stuff. But so it's the beginning of March. Win the Storm Conference here in Vegas. I suggest you go to Anthony's website. Check him out. The guy is first class as far as how he runs a conference. I mean, you had Les Brown there last year, Grant Cardone, a lot of knowledgeable speakers within the industry. I mean, people definitely left there out of Miami from the conference with a lot of value. And again, we shook them up, made huge sales with your VT. So I appreciate you being a client. I respect you as a businessman and a sales guy. You're out there every day making it happen and helping the industry, Anthony. Anything you want to share before we sign off?
Appreciate it. No, I'm just I just want to say that I think with the key thing about this virtual training, some people think, well, it's a bunch of training videos. It's not, the key thing, and it's hard to explain. That's why we do the virtual demo tours with guys, is to show the performance testing and the accountability and how the videos are timed and how we break that down into short industry specific tasks that the individuals need to learn, but then how they retain it through the testing and making it fun as well. And that's hard to explain even when we're talking here today. And that's why we do a lot of the virtual demos. So I encourage, if any contractors are watching this, whether they're storm or non-storm, set themselves up with a demo, because you really got to see it to understand how it works. And it's amazing how quickly you get a team trained in by using not just the training videos, but the testing and the performance standards all tied in together. I think that's what separates Lightspeed from all these other video platforms that you see out there is that unique, level of detail on the performance testing after each video. And then for the owner or the manager to get that, those watchdog reports to see, hey, when the guys were testing, when are they watching, what are their test scores, and literally using it as a tool to hire, fire, promote, not hire, not promote, maybe not even bring to your company. And that's what's been missing in this industry for years.
So before we close, Lightspeed VT, did you get a return on investment?
Oh, absolutely.
Would you tell a friend?
We're walking around. In fact, when I get off here, we got 4 demos. I got 4 demos to help my team here out with demos. We're doing demos here all week. So yeah, for us, it's really blowing up. We're excited about it. But it's exciting to know we're helping contractors scale their business, and we're getting a lot of positive video testimonials and testimonials back from guys that are using this in the field. And they're like, man, you just saved me a lot of headache, Anthony. And so I'd like to hear that kind of stuff. That's a payoff for me.
Brother, I appreciate you. Thanks for being a client. More importantly now, thanks for being a friend.
All right. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Have a great day.